Want to speak about the Picture of Dorian Gray for 3 uninterrupted minutes without notes? By the end of this video, you will. We'll take a mind map containing the concept about 4 literary elements, and by the end, you'll be able to turn them into confident spoken English, the kind that gets results in a speaking task or exam. But remember, this overview highlights the essentials. To prepare properly, use your textbook, your teacher's notes, and our website, Literature No Trouble.
If you're an English learner at B1 or B2 level preparing for a literature exam, this video is made for you. We're going to take a mind map and turn it into fluent spoken English, step by step, using a method you can apply to any branch, any text, any exam.
Hello, lovely learners. I'm Anna, the one who finds mind maps genuinely exciting.
And I'm Annie, the one who transforms the mind maps into a speaking path.
Here's the map. At the top, the Picture of Dorian Gray. 4 branches spread out from it. And we always move left to right. Title, genre, structure and plot, setting. That's our route. That's the order we're going to follow.
If you're wondering where these maps came from, we have 2 other videos on the LNT channel that walk through their construction. One for title, genre and setting, one for structure and plot. Links in the description below. Worth watching before or after this one. Let me show you what it sounds like to speak a branch. I'll take the title branch, and I want you to notice something before I start. Most of the sentences are built with the verb to be. That's the engine. It's simple and accurate. It's exactly what a map bubble or node asks for. A node is a label. To be turns a label into a sentence. That's all. The title branch tells us about the novel's central concerns. The title is divided into 2 parts. The picture, which is connected to appearance, and Dorian Gray, which is connected to the person and beneath the surface to reality. This division demonstrates the novel's central theme, duality. Moving on to the idea of 2 portraits, there's the literal portrait, which is the painting created by Basil Hallward, and there's the metaphorical portrait, which is Dorian's soul. The literal portrait is eventually hidden in a locked room upstairs, and the metaphorical portrait is what the reader sees developing across the novel. So we can say the title is a thesis. It tells us from the very first words that this novel is about the gap between image and truth.
Now, let's do the same for the genre branch.
I'll still use to be throughout. I'll add one useful phrase near the end, and I'll signal it to you when it comes. The genre branch is divided into 2 main traditions, the aesthetic movement and the Gothic novel. Turning first to the aesthetic movement. This is connected to the principle of art for art's sake, which Wilde defends in his preface to the 1891 novel. The preface is a manifesto for aestheticism, and it's built around 3 related ideas: artistic freedom, the belief that art is not a moral instrument, that means the rejection of judgment by moral criteria, and the idea that beauty and form are more important than anything else. What this means is that aesthetic value and ethical value are 2 different things for Wilde. Now, moving on to the Gothic novel. This is divided into 2 elements, the Faustian bargain and the supernatural. Dorian's wish isn't made to the devil, but the result is the same. His portrait is old and he's young. The supernatural element is also the source of the Gothic motive of the doppelganger. That means the figure of the double, the split self. Dorian's face is beautiful. His portrait is monstrous. In other words, the portrait is both his mirror and his conscience. Now, a useful phrase. Instead of saying the portrait is his mirror, we could say the portrait reveals his inner reality. In this case, we replace the verb to be with a more expressive verb. Same idea, more expressive. You can use it when you're ready. And here's something worth knowing. When Wilde was put on trial in 1895, 6 years after this novel was published, the prosecution used the Picture of Dorian Gray as evidence against him. Passages were read out loud in court. Wilde's response was to argue that the novel was a moral work. Dorian's destruction is the consequence of his choices. The Gothic convention, in other words, was his alibi.
This kind of detail is what signals to teachers and examiners that you've moved beyond the plot. You're connecting the novel to Wilde's life, to a history, and to the debates of the 1890s. That's critical thinking, and that's what earns higher marks. Now, your turn. You've seen the method twice now, title and genre. Pause the video and complete a speaking task using the structure and plot branch. Look at the map. You have two branches, structure and plot. Work through each one, top to bottom, left to right, using linking phrases to connect the nodes.
And remember, the verb to be is always enough. If you want to try a useful phrase, go ahead, but only if your version already feels comfortable. Aim for 1 to 2 minutes of continuous speaking. If you lose the thread, go back to the map. That's what it's there for. And actually speak it out loud, not in your head. Pause now, complete your speaking task, take your time, and press play when you're ready.
How did you do? Found it hard? Tell us in the comments.
Here's the structure and plot branch. We're still using to be, one useful phrase at the end, the same principle as before. Let's turn first to structure. The novel was published as a shorter piece in Lippincott's magazine in 1890. The reaction was immediate. Accusations of immorality, withdrawal of the magazine by its distributor. The result was that the 1891 version is longer. 6 chapters were added, and the preface was added too. The preface is a manifesto for aestheticism. The structure of the novel is symmetrical. It's divided into 3 parts. Part 1, from chapters 1 to 10, is the story of Dorian's youth. Part 2 is a single chapter, chapter 11. It's a bridge. 18 years, more or less, are compressed into 1 chapter, and Dorian's soul is in decay throughout. Part 3 is chapters 12 to 20, and there's the final destruction. Looking now at the plot. The first key point is Lord Henry's influence. His hedonistic philosophy is the start of the novel's central event. Lord Henry's method isn't force, it's conversation. The wish is next. Dorian's portrait is old, but Dorian is not. And the upstairs room is the location of the hidden, corrupt self. The only place where the truth is stored. The murder is next. Basil's death is a sin against both art and friendship. It's not simply a crime. It's the end of the one relationship that is perhaps Dorian's only chance of salvation. Finally, we have the resolution. Dorian stabs the portrait and he dies. The old painting is restored. And the useful phrase, instead of saying Lord Henry's philosophy is the start of the novel's central event, we could say Lord Henry's philosophy has a heavy influence on Dorian. They're both simple sentences, but the second one gives you a sense of pressure, of one thing working on another. So use it when you feel ready.
The map reveals how the novel's structure leads logically and inevitably to the story's conclusion.
Now, the setting branch. This is divided into 2 parts, time and place. And before we start, have a look at the map carefully and you'll notice something. The locked upstairs room is already in the structure and plot branch as the location of the hidden, corrupt self. Now here it returns in the place section, although now it is a spatial metaphor, the physical space that connects the portrait to Dorian. The same node, 2 branches. The map rewards attention. Start using the verb to be first, as always. Coming first to time, the setting is the Victorian 1890s. Reputation is very important in this period. Public image is important. These 2 things are connected to what the map calls the Victorian compromise, the social understanding that what you are seen to be is more important than what you actually are. The branch also contains narrative time, and specifically compression and ellipsis. This is the technique Wilde uses in chapter 11. 18 years are compressed into a single chapter. At the start of chapter 11, Dorian is about 20 years old. By the end, he's 38. The effect is moral as well as structural. Moving on to place. There are 3 locations and each one is morally distinct. The West End is the location of wealth and respectability. It's where Dorian performs and where he is seen and admired. The East End is the exact opposite. It's the location of the opium dens, the corruption, the anonymity. It's where the mask is off. The locked upstairs room is different from both. It's the location of the portrait, and it's the one place in the novel where the truth is stored. Now we have 2 useful phrases to finish. Instead of saying the West End is the location of wealth, we could say the West End stands for wealth and respectability. And instead of saying the East End is where the mask is off, we could say the East End becomes the place where the mask is off. You can hear how those verbs add something, a little more texture, a little more movement, but the to be versions are completely correct. They're always enough.
If you can now speak for 3 uninterrupted minutes about the Picture of Dorian Gray without notes, that's not memorization, that's method. And this method works for any text in your exam. Look at the map again, practice one branch at a time, and tell us in the comments which branch challenged you most.
The mind map from this video is available for free from our website along the useful phrases sheet. The link is in the description. Screenshot them, print them, use them.
And share this with a friend whose revision notes are locked away like Dorian's portrait. L&T, where literature meets clarity, stay lit.